Oh my goodness, I'm Maxwell Garcia. This is MWG Story Reviews, and we're talking about a Netflix show which just released recently. There's only one season out. I'm waiting for that season 2, and this show is called Never Have I Ever. And Never Have I Ever doesn't really play too much into the actual show. It's just kind of a title for the situations that goes on, and it's pretty cool for the titles. It's like Never Have I Ever ... and that's the title. Yeah, man, alright name. And Never Have I Ever is one of those high school dramas. Let's go! We got romance, we got just regular school, we got personal issues with parents. This is the stuff. I mean, this is always interesting since I'm a high school student, and this is sort of relatable. Some things yes, some things no. So here we go. And this one is with a minority family. This is where that main character comes from, and that's Davy. Davy is now a 10th grade student born into an Indian family where Davy's father is now dead. And Davy actually lost her father during she doesn't play the violin, but she's playing like this big violin, and then Davy's father has a heart attack. And he pops up in like this dream that I forget that he's dead, and it's like, he's alive. And it's like, oh yeah, he's not alive. And they like twist your mind for a second. It's like, oh. And then Davy's mom is this strict Indian parent who over time has to learn how to loosen up, restrict certain things. And oh boy, at school, Davy's dealing with a lot. Not only is she competing with another student who's also both battling for the top spot in the class, and that's with Ben. Ben is super wealthy, and then one of her goals for the beginning of 10th grade is for her to go to a party and for her to please have sex. Even though I haven't had sex and I'm ending my 11th grade year, this girl puts it on her top priority list for the year. And she doesn't do it throughout the whole season. I guess they're waiting for that for season 2, I guess. And oh boy, Davy has her goals set on this boy in the 11th grade, a grade level above her, named Paxton. And Paxton is like that main jock on the swim team. But Paxton does have his sister, who kind of keeps him emotionally grounded, which I like. I like how they balance each other out. It's not just a jock out in the wild. You have to have some grounded on that mental state. So Davy looks up to Paxton, and one day, for whatever reason, this is going to the point where I think the show is a little bit too bold at sometimes. I'll mention 3 things. The first thing is that Davy blatantly asks Paxton, do you want to have sex with me? Tomorrow? Yeah, let's go have sex, tomorrow. I've never met you, but let's just go have sex. It's literally what happened. And another situation, Davy yelled the B word right to her mother.
Look at this. Mom, you're being such a... How did she not die?
And then there's another situation where Davy just throws a book out the window. Some really bold and out of the normal stuff right there. And then you, of course, have to set up Davy with some friends. So you got Fabiola, who's this, am I gonna come out as gay when I'm gonna do that? Cliche character who's on the robotics team. And then we have Ilona, who's on the drama club, and her mother went out to go get some milk and never came back. And over time, we learned that Ben kind of just is feeling alone since he's wealthy, just kind of super privileged, never has really made his mindset change to I should be more friendly to some people, kind of relate to how they're feeling, not just all about me. So there's this super cool episode where Davy is kind of having a tough time with all her friends because she wanted to go help Paxton, Because that ends up working. Like when she is bold out there asking Paxton that question, Paxton says yes. So Davy helps out Paxton, and that leaves Ilona and Fabiola just alone, kind of solving their own issues together because it's coming out gay at the same time, and Davy's neglecting it. Ilona's mom comes back. Davy's neglecting it for some boys. So it's like kind of that conflict there. And yeah, Ben is alone. So once Davy's kind of in the midst of her like climax of problems, we don't get a resolution until like the episode after, because we just completely flip perspectives to Ben, who has these tickets to an LA Clippers game. That touched my heart when he mentioned Kawhi Leonard. Oh, I was like, yes, Kawhi Leonard. Yes, it's so great that he said that. But his father's always on the road working, so he doesn't have anybody to go to the basketball game with, and he ends up not going at all, which really bruised my heart. He had courtside tickets, and he never went. So we get to see Ben's scenario for the first time, and then flips back to Davy, and it's like, yes, we're back on Davy. Woo woo. And towards the end of the show, Davy does go to a party. No one asked her about the cocaine, though, so she could say no, that never happens. She never has sex with Paxton, although Paxton does take his shirt off, and that's all that happens. And then she gets weirded out, like, oh boy, I don't know how to do this sex thing. And then she goes on like a learning lesson with her friends. Sex education in a couple hours. And towards the end of the show, they go on this Model UN field trip, which is cool to see. And then we see how Paxton, Ben, and Davy are in this love triangle. And it's like, I don't know who I want. Because this is going to play out in season 2. Like, Davy's going to have to choose one. Or maybe both aren't going to be interested anymore. Who do I want? Ben or Paxton? I think I'm more relatable to Ben, even though I'm not like wealthy and alone. I have a bunch of friends and I'm more middle class. But I feel like his like drive for greatness and sometimes neglecting others, I could relate with that. Paxton's more that jock who's super popular, and that's not really my type. So I really want Paxton and Davy for that dream to come together, because Ben just came in at the very end. And one thing I do have to say before I go out of this video is that Davy's the top of her class, right? Like, she wants to go to Princeton, probably averaging a 4.0. Yet, she's in geometry in 10th grade. Taking AP classes, but she's in geometry. She should at least be in Algebra 2 or Pre-Cal at this point. I mean, at least in my schooling, if you're taking geometry in the 10th grade, you're kind of just normal, not really on that Princeton level. That's just my opinion. But good job mentioning AP classes for the first time. And then Davy has her sister, who's kind of like a cousin. I mean, it's not her sister. Davy has her cousin that's just kind of living at the house for a little bit. And like, she's super pretty, and then she just starts watching Riverdale. And they mentioned a bunch of shows, whether that be Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty. Ton of shows are mentioned here, and it's a funny show. So I'm gonna give Never Have I Ever a 7.0. I think it's a fair rating for this show. I'll definitely be tuned in for season 2. Thank you for watching. Make sure you listen. Peace out.